Hi everyone, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for today's video. What are narcissists really thinking? Wouldn't you like to know? I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about narcissists. I've been studying the subject matter for years, and I got a little grip, I think, on understanding them. Before I get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate you for doing that. You can support me in other ways. You can vote up or down on the video. Go down there, tell me why, ask me questions, share this video, things like that. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to talk a little bit today about thoughts and also feelings. They're a lot different. They are. And I think that narcissists kind of vacillate between these two, kind of battle between these two. I think they listen and buy into their thoughts and totally reject their feelings. But I'm still going to talk about them today because I think it's important. We also talk about behaviors. To know kind of what someone's thinking, we study behaviors because thought patterns kind of enable or inhibit our behaviors and actions and the reasons we do things. The problem is with narcissists, this rejecting their true self and their feelings and emotions and buying into their thoughts, what happens is they don't really know who they are. And this is very contradicting, and it comes out very much in their behaviors. And so there's a phrase I like to say a lot, and you might hear this a lot, is what they say and what they do don't match. And they lack the self-awareness to understand this, to see this. A personality disorder in itself means that someone's personality is rigid. No flexing, no bending, okay? No changing, doing the same thing over and over again, not looking at themselves and saying, what can I do to change this? It's always everybody else's fault, right? So they don't change. So the thought patterns are rigid, I believe. I do. And I believe even maybe emotions. But narcissism is a rejection of their true authentic self. And they show you an exterior, they're posturing a false self. They're also very dependent. They're not self-reliant. And I'll get into that. So they really battle between thoughts and feelings. And we're broken up. Our true authentic self is broken up into many parts, but a major part of that is our feelings, how we feel, our emotions. And thoughts come from our brain, and it's not our true self. It's our exterior self or our physical self, okay? And so they totally reject their emotional self and totally buy into this physical self. So they really, really care about what they look like, what others think. Now, they may not have empathy and not care about how people feel, but they definitely buy stock into what you think of them. Judgment, okay? This is somebody who judges themselves and judges others, so they feel judged all the time. Now, this rejection of their feelings is rejecting themselves, and this causes shame, low self-worth. The narcissist has very, very low self-worth. And a lot of this, you guys, I'm talking a lot about covert narcissists, okay? And a lot of this can apply to overt narcissists, but it may look different. So having low self-worth and carrying around shame, believing you're a bad person is depressing. They have depression. These are more emotions, feelings that they ignore, that they shun, that they numb. They may have addictions. They have anxiety. Anybody who does not have a really good sense of self, which they don't reject who they truly are, has depression, has anxiety, worries, feels lonely, may not want to be alone much. And it causes fears, lots and lots of fear. The buying into what others think, of how I look, comparing themselves to others causes low self-esteem. And so the covert narcissist has extreme low self-esteem. They may not show you that. They're rejecting how they feel about themselves. They're building a false persona, character, a mask. Because what you think of them is who they are. They don't decide that themselves. This causes more fear. Again, fear. Fear I may get caught. Fear the mask may slip. Fear somebody will know how bad I am of a person. But this is suppressed so far deep. But they still have the fear. Their paranoia comes from self-appointed status. Because all they value is things like status and looks and money, power, control. These are the things they value. And so it can cause paranoia that their self-appointed status may get knocked down, right? If you don't really achieve something and you tell people I achieve it, you may get caught, right? And whatever they thought of you about achieving this certain thing and they realize you did not is bad for them. More and more shame. So this dependency, emotional dependency, I'm not talking about financial, emotional dependency, not having self-reliance, not being able to make themselves feel good or okay or tell themselves you're a good person. Everything's going to be all right, David. You're a good person. Everything's going to be okay. It'll work itself out. Pick yourself up. This goes into who we are. And so we all have emotional needs. We need things in relationships with people, but they need people. Remember, they don't do these things for themselves. We actually need to be emotionally independent and learn how to have our needs met in relationships by communicating, by being vulnerable. They will not do that. Will not. And so they need people to do that for them. We want to be happy by the little moments in life that we share with someone we care about. They want status, money, power, love, sex. And all of this causes envy. Envy. And they either are envious of other people or they believe and want others to be envious of them. It can be a sort of goal. Maybe they compulsive shop and buy all these belongings. You always have to buy the best thing. Look, I have the best, so I am the best. That's where they find their value. This all leads up to midlife crisis. Narcissists are huge. I mean, huge amount of group of people that are susceptible to midlife crisis. And midlife crisis is being taught, being raised that what makes you happy are things, exterior things that we own or how we look or success, achievements in business, life, ownership. Perfect for a midlife crisis, because what happens? It takes a while to achieve these things, right? We have to, get a career, get a college, graduate from college, right? And we have to get a career, and we may start our own family and have a house and a car and these kinds of things. It takes a while to acquire these things. Sometimes around midlife, it might take a narcissist. And then they realize that I'm not happy still because they have no self, rejection of their self. And this is how we become happy, giving ourselves things that we need and want, making ourselves feel good. And that's introspecting and being very self-conscious and aware of who we are. They are not. So they do all these things they think that make them happy. And then they realize they're not happy. We have moral values, but they will own you to obtain a sense of their own moral value. And they'll tell you, you're so this, you're so nice and giving and sharing and caring, things like this. You're so honest, you have integrity, you're loyal. And they want these things from you, right? You better be honest, and I value loyalty and these kinds of things. But do they really? Because they're not. They own it. They achieve it by owning you. And that's really what this is. They believe they own you like an object. So what are they really thinking? Well, rigid, narrow, not much. Not much. Without the feelings. I want what they have. And I want people to want what I have. And I hope nobody finds out who I really am. Because that's absolute rejection. And then I can just go into all their emotions. And their fears are big. They're big ones. Fear of intimacy. Fear of rejection. Fear of abandonment. These kinds of things can plague them. So, that's the end of this video. I hope I gave a little insight on what they're thinking. I'd love to hear your guys's, what you guys think, what you guys have experienced, what you've seen, to tell me what they think. But lots and lots of negative emotions are very common, from loss, scared, afraid, anxious, depressed, lonely, these kinds of things, because they cannot give themselves what they truly, truly emotionally need. And they're dependent on you and other people, which is which doesn't work. That's all exterior. And so they build themselves up, right? They allow others to decide who they are, building themselves up by things that they own and how they look, things they do. And that just causes massive low self-esteem. They have low self-worth. They don't want to be discovered. If they don't like themselves, if they hate themselves, then we will too. And so they build up that fake persona to blend in. It's actually a social thing. We like to comply, and we like to go along with what society does. And they'll do that to get what they need because they're not self-reliant, dependent on you. They need to be accepted. And they're dependent on you to get what they need, to make them feel good, to make them look good. So I hope that gives a little insight on the things they're thinking about. Let me know what you guys think, please. I'd love to hear. Comments are always awesome. And love yourself first. Anybody wants coaching, daviddemars.com. Thank you.